Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Oh, it's been a minute, hasn't it? I thought I would stop by, say hello, and see how everybody's doing with all this crazy energy and this chaos that's going on in our universe. Seems like everybody's got some sort of challenges that are coming up. So it's, I think, a good time to talk about some really great topics. We had a really great full moon and we have a new super moon tonight. And so we have some really powerful energies that are upon us. And so I'm really, really excited to talk about some of the topics I have tonight. I really just kind of want to check in with you guys and see how you are. See what's going on with you guys, how you're handling the energies, what you're doing to get by. Let me turn my other screen on. Excuse me. So did you guys catch the full moon last night? And let me ask you, did any of you notice these really odd lights going in a very uniform direction, very beautifully across the sky? I saw it. I witnessed it in during my full moon ritual last night. It happened to go right through my backyard. It was really great. I went ahead and Googled it right away, and it's some sort of star gaze something, and it was supposed to happen. It was planned, and so I was pretty excited about that. But I had seen it before, probably in 2020 or 21. Maybe it was 21. Maybe it was 21. Up on the lake, I saw the same thing going by. So last night they considered that the blue moon, and tonight is the Sturge's super moon, and it's pretty powerful. Two super moons that are going on in August. It's like the double stargazing, right? It's kind of, I mentioned to somebody driving the day before yesterday when the moon came out that it looked blue to me. And they like, it doesn't look blue to me. And I go, well, look through yours, because he had a little visor thing. I said, look through that. It'll look blue to you there. And he said, yeah, it does. So Wednesday was the closest supermoon of the year, right? We learned about that one. I learned about that one yesterday. I didn't know all these energies were going on together so intensely. August's full moon will appear in the afternoon tonight. Usually here where I'm at, it's Pacific Standard Time, so Eastern Standard Time would probably be 2:32 p.m., somewhere around in that area. Maybe look towards the northeast, towards like maybe just like briefly after sunset, and see what's going on, and you'll get a glimpse of the moon rising, and maybe you'll be able to witness it. You may have heard that there's 4 supermoons in a row this year. The first one is August 1st. That's the supermoon. And the second supermoon is this unusual sequence of another supermoon. It's kind of a catchy term for astrologers. They call it the Pettigrew full moon, right? And some say it differently, some call it something differently too. But it's when the full moon happens at it's like a very near exact time when the moon is closest to us in the orbit, right? It appears to happen at the very same time. So the supermoon exceeds like a disc, right? It has an average size to it, the moon. Everybody's saying they're emotional. Of course you're emotional. It's the moon, right? They say the ER gets full, it gets packed, and everybody comes in and they're losing their mind. They're going crazy. I can attest. I was a nurse for a long time. The ER was packed every full moon. But, we're going to have another blue moon later on in the month of August too. And so I know a lot of people are feeling these intense pull, push, pull, push, pull, push. And so I thought it would be a perfect time to talk about some meditation practices, find out what you guys are involved in and how you do it, and tell you a little bit about what I've learned through my journey, through my awakening. It's pretty profound. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Be sure and answer the question on the poll. I'd like to know, because there's so many different modalities, right? Meditation is kind of a practice that involves me. I'll just use me. Let me take a drink. I'm really dry because that's another thing. The heat is just so goddamn intense. But meditation, the practice of it, for me, involves me training, right? I was training my mind to focus and redirect thoughts, yet I didn't know I was even doing that, right? I was just looking for some sort of solace, some sort of peace, right? And that kind of lended to a state of mental clarity, emotional calmness, and inner peace. And it often, to me, is associated with spiritual traditions like Buddhism or Hinduism, but it can also be practiced as just a secular activity, if you will, for numerous health and well-being benefits, right? And so that's kind of why I took it up in the first place when I did, because I needed something to bring me peace, to bring that peace and that solace to me. And so I used different modalities, not just meditation. I used other modalities and kind of incorporated them together. And so to me, now that I've been on my journey for over 4 years since I've awakened, I know that now that the modalities that I used were simply modalities to lead the way to something, right? To lead the way to something beyond which I could even imagine at the time. And that's why I said when I was meditating, I didn't realize I was doing all these beneficial things for myself. So during meditation, typically people will assume a comfortable position sitting, or they'll engage in a technique or an exercise, and they'll promote some sort of relaxation or self-awareness for themselves. Some people will use different modalities. Some will use breath work, pranayama breathing. Some will do visual meditation because they're visual learners and they do better with visual. Some will use auditory. So there's many, many, many different types of modalities that you can use that are called meditation. And so these are various forms of it that I'm speaking of, and each have its own specific instructions, or maybe objectives, I guess I would say. But there's generally the common theme, the common element, and the fundamental aspect of the meditation. It just basically involves cultivating mindfulness for yourself, right? Which is the ability to be centered, to be in the now, like sit in the now and be non-judgmental, right? You don't mentally judge anything, right? Your mental attention is in the present moment, and that involves observing your own thoughts within your head, right? And it's not just your thoughts, it's your feelings. What are you feeling in your body, right? What are the emotions that you're having? You pay mental attention to those things as well, and you begin to observe your thoughts first, and those thoughts, you realize, oh, they cause some sort of feeling within me, and now I have this bodily sensation that I'm feeling: anger, fear, anything, calmness, peace. And then, right, and you want to not only observe that, but try to observe the environment, because the mind and the body and the environment cannot be separated. And so you have to try to do it without getting caught up in the reacting, if you will. And another common focus in meditation is really concentration, right? Some practitioners will say, they'll give someone pay your direct attention on this spot, place your eye or your direct attention on this picture, right? And it's kind of a distraction for them. It's a single point to focus on, such as some will say, focus on your breath. That's a simple point of focus. Focus on a mantra. That's a simple point of focus. Visual object, simple point, same thing. Or a bodily sensation, right? But you're doing it by concentrating on the subject object, right? You're the subject, and what's the object you're thinking about? The mind becomes less distracted by random thoughts and experiences when you do this, and it kind of brings this sense of tranquility. And meditation is not about emptying the mind of thoughts, but it's rather about acknowledging the thoughts you're having without judgment, and to gently just return back to the now, right? The focus, to be chosen, to be objective, right? To pay attention, right? The meditation practice can lead you to quieter, more peaceful mind. It reduces stress. It reduces anxiety. It improves your well-being. You'll increase your self-awareness, and it kind of enhances your concentration. If you're a reader or you're doing a project, your concentration gets longer. And it's a greater source, one of the greatest source, I think, for connectiveness to oneself, to the world, which it's important to know, right? If the meditation is a skill, right? It's a skill that requires you to practice. It's no different than learning how to tie our shoe when we were little, right? It took us practice to learn that. So someone will say, I try to meditate, but my mind runs and runs. When I started meditation, my mind ran and ran and ran and ran too. But what happens if you become the observer in the now, just sit in the now, become the observer of one's own thoughts, right? And you don't have to engage the thought. You can just see it, look at it. Don't suppress it. Don't push it away. Don't engage it. Just sit with it, right? And I promise you, it will dissipate and go away. And then another thought will come, and you can do the same thing. And when you do that over a period, let's say you start at 2 to 3 minutes, right? Or even 5 minutes, and you only get a minute and a half of where you're not engaging the thought or the voice in the head, then that attention span will get larger and larger, and that is an opening to consciousness. And so what some people may experience is some sort of immediate, right, benefit, and others, they experience a more subtle, right, benefit, and others it's longer term. And I found in my practice that most of it is because it's resistant, and it's not that they are even aware, because it's not a blame game, right? They're not aware, it's unconscious. So it may take time to develop the proficiency, and to experience really the full range and the advantage, as with new practices on anything, learning how to ride a skateboard, ride a bike, drive a car, right? Work a computer, ride a horse, ride a motorcycle. It's all a new practice. And so it's advisable to really kind of just start out in, I wouldn't do what I did. I was in meditation a whole lot of the time prior to my shift in consciousness, because I was going through some really traumatic challenges within my environment, right? And so I was trying to find peace and solace because it was just getting too chaotic for me. And so I, where I was with meditation and music, and I didn't even know it was meditation and music, right? At the time I was doing it, I didn't know I was benefiting from it, but it was long periods of time. But I would suggest shorter sessions, maybe gradually increase your durations, maybe set yourself, maybe by, I want to do 3 to 5 minutes today. And then you can increase that duration as you become more familiar or more comfortable with the process of meditation. And not every meditation practice that another does may be good for you or comfortable for you or resonate with you. So it's important to note that there are many, many, many different forms of meditation. You don't have to pick and choose. You can do one or you can do several, right? Meditation was honestly a form of peace and calmness for me. And then I think that peace and calmness that I was experiencing, it allowed that space to come in and that break in mental chatter, and that I had an awakening. And so consciousness is like that. Consciousness is very subtle, right? Consciousness doesn't knock on your door and give you a note and say, I'm here, pay attention. It comes in very subtle. So, and where I sit now in consciousness, everything is reverse. Everything is backwards. And it's one of the biggest tricks that's been played on humanity. And I wouldn't change a thing, right? I think I heard Alan Watts say the same thing. I feel the exact same way, right? Because if it was done differently, we wouldn't gain the wisdom we need to gain, right? And you don't gain wisdom by nothing. You gain it by repeating lessons over and over and over and over again and expecting different results. And then finally you wake up and you go, well, shit, that's not working for me. I better change something here. And so those subtle changes that we make, sometimes we don't even have the correct mindset that you're doing it because you're trying to create a spiritual opening or have an awakening, because many don't even know they exist, right? So this is just another modality that leads to that which is beyond. So doing this modality, it's extremely helpful. Even when you think it's not working, or if you believe it's not, even if you say to yourself, it's not working, my head won't shut up, and I don't believe it's doing a thing, it is. I honestly will tell you, it is. And I only know this from my own experience of not knowing when I started my journey, and I didn't even know I was starting a journey, right? I was just trying to find some peace from the challenges that I was going through in my environment. So it doesn't really matter. The seed is being planted, if you will, right? You're planting that seed, and one meditation doesn't fit all. And it doesn't. I have clients that do visual meditation. I have some that are visual learners. That's okay. I have some that do breath work. I have some that do other things, because that's what works for them. That's what brings them the peace and the solace that they're requiring and that they're looking for. And so it allows them to have that space too, right? Regardless of the modality of the meditation itself. So this is why there's many different types. And so when I began to meditate, I just did it for peace. And my mind still ran, and I did the best I could to distract the mind using other modalities such as music or listening to someone speak about gratefulness. And I did that for 30 days, right? Because it distracted me from what I felt I was going through in my troubles, my traumas, and whatever it was that was happening in my environment. And I was able to disassociate kind of with what was happening around me and sit in the now, right? And then that is how peace was brought to me. So it works in magical and mysterious ways, and we don't even know it's working. So it works if you allow it to, right? You can use even a mantra. Sometimes a mantra helps. I think most people use mantras, in my opinion, in just my opinion, to manifest something. But you can use mantras like, I wish well-being, I wish joy, and I wish happiness and love for all mankind. And then you can say that a few times, and then you can wish that for yourself, right? But if you say, like, I'm grateful and I'm happy that money is abundantly coming to me in mysterious and magical ways in multiple sources, that's kind of a manifestation mantra. So if you have a mantra or something that works for you, like my son used to go up before he hit on the baseball field and it was his turn to go up, he used to psych himself out and say a mantra, and he didn't even know it was a mantra. It was just a saying he said to himself in the head to allow him to go up and bat, right? And it was beautiful. So you can write it down, and if you hear one along your journey that really resonates with you, write that down. You can always fill in the blanks, I, you, me. You can always fill in the blanks. Add what you want to that brings peace, love, and joy to all of you, and to yourself, and to all mankind, right? And so I thought it was a really profound topic to talk about tonight because of everybody that is going through these multiple shifts. There's a lot of spirits talking. There's a lot of awakening that's happening on the planet, right? Even our temperatures are out of control. It's been 113 and 110 here, and it's been absolutely intolerable. There's been weather issues and earthquakes and floods and states being blown up, and governmental and politics and school, and they're saying COVID's on the rise again. There's a lot of stuff going on in our environment. And I'm going to say it again. The mind and the body and the environment and your environment cannot be separated. They're all one. They're all one. And I've explained it before. You use your 5 senses through your chakra system, and you receive information. Some of the innate things we have built in our autonomic nervous system, our fight flight, those are innate systems. Our digestive system, innate. Our heartbeat, innate. We don't consciously say, okay, today I'm going to get up and beat my heart. We don't make ourselves hungry. We don't digest our food, right? And so those are things that are innate and built in. So our body is a miraculous machine, and the mind runs the body, right? And the body will respond to its environment through its 5 senses. And when you have a incomplete experience, that's a trauma, that's a pain, that's a memory, that's something you've gone through in your lifetime, a challenge, it's an incomplete experience, right? It's an incomplete experience because most of the time we were too young to deal with it, and we had to fragment to cope. And that's an innate built-in system too. It's called coping mechanisms. That's how you know when you walk down the street and you go, no, I don't want to go that way, right? It's innate. It's built in. Your body's smart. It's wise. I remember I hit a deer, right? I never had hit a deer in my life, and I was devastated, right? But the deer lived, and I just hurt its hip a little bit, right? And so we took it off the road, and the only thing I could think of was that Mother Nature, Creator, the universe is going to heal that deer, right? It doesn't have a hospital to go to. It has a mom that was with her, right? She was a little younger, maybe about 1.5 years, but there was 2 of them. She had someone with her to help her, but she didn't have modern medicine like we have here, like us humans use. And so the body needs an opportunity to turn its autoimmune system on. Sometimes we shut it off. It's an innate system built in because we're running on fight flight because we're in the egoic mind pattern, right? And it's no fault of anybody's. It's not a blame game. You're not even aware you're doing it. And until you're aware, then you have awareness. That's why they call it awareness. It's not a blame game. So it's kind of what I was saying when I started the video in the first place. It's everything in the universe is backwards. Everything. You live on a grid. If you could imagine this, I'm kind of thinking that it might be easier to understand this way. Let's say the grid is a big old baseball field, right? You are the captain of any players that go on your field. It's your field. You're the avatar. You're the form that's housing that whole field. You get to change the players. the environment, the decorations, the costumes, the air, the quality, everything. You get to change everything. You're the actor, you're the director, you're the script writer, you're everything, right? And that baseball field is the universe, right? And so if you manifest something in the mind, you can't separate the mind from the body. The body will create emotions, and you'll act upon those emotions, and you'll manifest exactly what you say you don't want, right? Or you'll manifest exactly what you believe you want to manifest. It works vice versa. But in the universe, you live on a grid, and you're simply here on a temporary basis in consciousness. You don't know your consciousness yet if you're not awakened, and that's okay. Perfectly fine. I didn't know either. You will know. It's coming. Trust me, it will come. And we're not in control. That's the one thing you learn, is you're not in control. And all this time that you've been searching for the things that you sit in the now and feel, you've been searching in people, places, and things and not been able to find. Yeah, you can find it on a short-term basis. It's really short-lived, right? And then you're off seeking again. And it's nobody's fault, right? We mirror each other. We mirror each other. We do that because those are lessons that we're learning in this baseball field of life that we're playing, right? And you're playing the cards. You're dealing the hand. You're shuffling the deck, right? And so to speak. And so this avatar has the ability to do miraculous things. Let's just give one example. If you do meditation, let's say, and you start out very slow, you start out slow and you just practice it consistently, you will see a shift. You will see a shift. You will feel a shift. You won't visually see it. You'll feel it. But it's so subtle that if you're tied up in the mental chatter of the mind, you miss it. It goes right by you. You don't see it. You don't even notice it, right? Some people say, I don't see idiosyncrasy. I don't see 777 or 333 or 111 or 1010 or anything like that. I see them all the time. All the time. And 9 times out of 10, it's what I'm thinking. When I see it, it's a validation that I'm thinking and I'm on the right track, because it's the only way creator can speak to us, right? Because it comes in symbolism, and it comes in from a magical universal field that is just littered with ultimate possibilities and probabilities that you're unaware of, right? And that's why they call it awareness. And it's the biggest joke that creator could have played on us as humanity. But I wouldn't have changed a thing, because we won't learn if we don't. We won't learn. And it took me a long time to learn, right? And when you have this shift, it'll be your greatest accomplishment in life. You'll say, I've been searching for this my entire life. So during these challenging times we're upon, right? There's news and social media about some really horrific things going on, right? That's publicly being announced. There's disasters worldwide. There's heat that's happening upon us. We're made of 3 things: water, cell, and energy. Energy I see, energy I move, energy I can shift and move. And that's how I clear energy for people, right? But it's not me. I'm just the vehicle creator's using to do it, right? But I literally see it. And when I first started seeing it, I thought I was seeing it with my regular eyes, but I'm not. I'm seeing it with my third eye. And so that is a process too for me. It started out slow, and it was a learning process, and it's something I've had to learn to live with, because it's in my environment and it's not going away, right? You can't unsee what you've seen, and then you're given some miraculous and beautiful gifts, and you wouldn't change a thing, right? All you want to do is share it with other people, and help them find the path that leads with within and without, right? It leads you to that which is beyond. And so if it's done in meditation, because some people just need, sometimes they go in the bathroom and they just shut themselves in there for a few minutes. You can do meditation in 5 minutes, right? You can just make a conscious choice to just, I have to push away all this energy, and I need my space, right? Just for a minute, for myself, for my mind, for my own sanity, and just breathe and start paying attention to the things you're thinking, and then maybe ask yourself silently, without answering right away, why am I thinking that? Where did that come from? What does that lead to? What does that cause me to do? What's the outcome? And if it's the same thing that's you've been experiencing over and over and over, that's why they say the answers lie within us, right? Because we are consciousness. We are creator. We are one. We are I am, right? And so until you awaken, you're the I, the me, the my story, right? And everybody has one. And it's an unconscious story, because humanity was born into this world, brought into this world with a habitual mind pattern called the egoic mind pattern. And it's based on your upbringing and your rearing. It was something you were taught. And it took a slow process. By the time you were 7 or 8, you already had your shit set and ready to go, right? And you've been operating on that since then. And so, no different, no fault. Not our parents' fault, not their parents' fault, not anyone's fault. It is what it is. But if you're not, that's why I say just take a minute, even if you have to hold your hands together and you can feel the energy between them. Know you're that energy, right? And the energy that's moving through the air right now, very powerful. And the energies that are flying around the social medias about all the horrific challenges this universe is dealing with is also another stressor. And so try to limit your social media. Try to focus on yourself and do a little self-love, even though it's hard. I know self-love is hard. I don't say it easily. Do something that you loved, that you forgot you loved, even if it's coloring in a coloring book or painting or writing. I remember when I was a kid, I used to write on the sidewalks with chalk, and we used to make, it's hopscotch designs, and we would play, and I remember that, and so it brought me joy. And so I had to literally draw one in my garage on the concrete floor, right? Because it brought me so much joy, and so I had forgotten that, and so I brought it up. I color in coloring books. But I'm using all those things that taught me about consciousness, that took me to consciousness. All those things. When you get to consciousness, you'll no longer have an attachment to people, places, or things. Everything that did not serve you will fall away, and new things will come to you. And it's such a beautiful thing. You won't want to change a thing. You won't want to change a thing. So if I can help in any way, don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help, right? How do I do this? I keep doing this same thing, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but I keep getting these results, and I'm really frustrated. Frustration leads to anger, and anger leads to fear, and it's all fear-based, right? And so us as humans, we don't ask for help very easily. We don't say, shit, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Can you help me? Right? And because it's a hard thing to do. And it shouldn't be, because you're the same as I am, right? The challenges that I had to get to where I'm at were mine. The challenges that you have in your life that get you to consciousness are yours. Each one of us are a unique snowflake, and you are a speck of creator, right? You are the microcosm to the macrocosm. You just don't know it. And so if these things can lead you to that place, I remember telling somebody that if I had someone to tell me the things that I'm saying now to me, and I would have sat up and listened, even though I didn't understand it, because it made so much sense. Because I read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, in 2010. I didn't get 3/4 of the way into the book and had no idea what he was talking about, and put it on my shelf. And my awakening occurred in 2019. So the seed was planted. Do you understand? Even though I didn't understand the information I was reading and I couldn't wrap my brain around it analytically, some of it I could, but not all of it. Right? Now I understand exactly what he's saying. It's 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 exactly what he's saying, and I'm saying the same thing, and it's supposed to happen gradually, but sometimes it happens like it happened to him, and like it happened to me. You kind of get shoved into the kingdom of heaven all in one swoop, right? And so it doesn't make it right, wrong, or indifferent. Sometimes spirit knows what it takes for that person, right? And thinking, well, maybe if we do this and make it gradual for this person, I don't know. I'm just speculating, right? Because I'm not in control. And so if I can ease you through or down that path, just a little, that's what I'm here to do, right? Your mind, you're not your mind. You're not the body. You're not even the thoughts you have. I've discussed that in other videos under Cracked Wide Open. You can watch those. Your thoughts are going to run and run and run. They're fleeting like the wind outside your window, right? It's what you do with the thoughts that you're receiving. How do you respond to them? And that response, what does that response do to your body psychologically, chemically, and emotionally? Because you have innate systems that are built in. If you say, I'm not angry, which I'm sure you've witnessed before when you've asked someone how they are and they go, I'm fine, right? They're not fine, right? And so they're suppressing something that they're feeling. And so there's a chemical response in their body going on that they have no clue that's going on. And it's kind of a loop, and it loops itself back on itself. A thought causes an emotion causes a behavior that's bad and the outcome. And you do it again. And it's like a circle. It's like a habitual hamster wheel of life. It's the karmic hamster wheel of life. That's why I say, you want to die in this lifetime. There's no person in the sky that's going to atone you or atone me for our sins when we leave this form, right? Consciousness, spirit, God, creator, whatever it is you identify, reincarnated in consciousness. Consciousness. It's not a form. It's not something you can explain. It's not something that you can easily wrap your mind around until it's time. But the seeds can be planted, right? And so if you do these things, if you do just even a few of those things and say to yourself, oh shoot, this isn't working, I might as well not do it. Trust me, the seeds are being planted. Your higher self knows what's best for you, right? And your higher self knows what it will take to get you to where you need to be. And your higher self will sometimes retreat because it's tired of getting its ass kicked and getting beaten up because you're not paying attention, right? You keep repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's insanity. That's the definition of insanity. And so it's a delicate topic. It's a delicate balance that you have to play, because it's not a blame game. It You're unconsciously aware that you're even doing it, right? And so someone can't point a finger at you and say something to you, because judge and be judged. That's what the Bible says, or that's what I think the Bible says. I'm not well read on the Bible, but that you will have no agenda. You won't one up anyone. You won't one down anyone. You will be in the now, and you will be there for them, and you will literally hear what they're saying. You will feel what they're feeling because you will be focused in the now with them, right? And that's how we get through. You and I and the neighbor and the dog and the flower and the sky and the earth and the water and the fire. It's all the same. It's all the same. And so I think that, I don't know this for a fact, but it's just a theory that I'm rolling with, is that I heard somewhere a long time ago that there's a ladder you climb called the Jacob's ladder. Now, again, I'm not well versed, I guess you'd say, in the Bible, but I remember that saying about something about that you climb the Jacob's ladder, and that's really kind of all I remember, right? And the only reason I remember that is because it's prevalent to what I'm going to tell you. When I had this happen to me, I was being shown symbolism, right? And I was shown a ladder in the sky, a literal ladder, and it came out of nowhere and it went to infinity, right? And what was strange is it had someone was climbing the ladder, and there was a giraffe and two little people or something around the bottom trying to help out, right? And at the time I thought I was going nuts, right? I thought, what the fuck am I seeing? I thought I was going crazy, right? And later, it wasn't till later when those symbolisms and the memory of what I just told you came together. And that's spirit was communicating with me. You're climbing the ladder. You're ascending upwards. The giraffe has, if you look up giraffes spiritually, they can see, they have a higher perception above everyone else. They can tell when danger is coming. And I was receiving help. I was receiving guidance from the elementals. And later, I tied that in with that part. And then later I went to a Reiki circle, and someone in the Reiki circle shared during their awakening that they experienced symbolism, but that it was animated and it looked like a cartoon. And I said, yeah, exactly. It looks exactly like a cartoon, and you're watching it on a reel, right? Because I also saw boxes and prison bars. That's what I thought they were. And it wasn't until maybe a year later, I learned that I was being shown, you've placed yourself in a box. You've mentally placed yourself in a prison. That's how spirit communicates, right? So if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. You'll miss it. And I don't know what your gifts will be, but certainly we'll have gifts, because all of us do, right? Because all of us are here on a journey to do something in this universe, right? We have a purpose here. We're here for a reason. Mine is probably all this heightened psychic ability and shamanic healing and things that I'm practicing and doing, and medical astrology. Why? Because that's my background, medical. I have 40 years, right? And so it makes sense to put medical and astrology together and learn what the planets control, what they don't control, what part of our body they control. Because if you start looking in astrology, you'll see that astrology definitely has a link and a connection to us. And just looking at your birth chart alone, right? And like last night, being outside, putting my crystals out and all my stuff, and meditating, and I was sitting there and saw these lights go across the sky. It was so amazing to be witnessing that. And immediately I Googled it. It was some stargate that was supposed to happen. And so I was at the right place at the right time to witness it, not for the first time, but the second time, right? I saw it before in 2020, I think, or 21. I'm not sure. So try some of the modalities. There's so many videos out there that give you different modalities to use. Pick one that resonates with you. For me, I will in the morning sometimes put my earbuds on and I'll listen to drumming because of the shamanic drumming, because it kind of puts me in this trance type, and then I'm on this journey. And so sometimes I do that. But for the most part, I can sit here and be in the now and be in meditation because I've been practicing it for a long time now. And so the whole takeaway is an awakening is your greatest accomplishment. And that's what's supposed to happen to you. And if you don't know, now you know. And things that you do will lead you that way. Things you buy, you'll pick it up and you won't know why you picked it up. And then when you have your awakening, you'll go, oh, now I know why I bought that. That's happened to me too. So it's subtle. It's subtle. And so if you're not paying attention and you're not in the now, you're missing it. You're missing the mark. And that's what it means to sin, missing the mark, right? Not seeing yourself, not seeing the illusion of self. And so meditation leads you down that path, and that leads to something that's beyond who you are or who you think you are or your story or your situation or the way you're feeling. And if these modalities, whatever resonates with you, yoga, meditation, breath work, visualization, music, right? Mantras, it doesn't make any difference. Whatever resonates with you, that modality you're using to lead you down that path. So it's a modality for you. And so don't take yourself too seriously. Don't go in there and go, oh, I can't do this. My mind won't be quiet. And I might as well just give up. Don't give up on yourself so easily. It's only a few minutes. And you'll notice, I promise you, after doing it for a good 5 days, you'll notice your duration will begin to get longer. Say you do it for 3 minutes to start. You only make it 1.5 minutes for 2 days. By the 4th day, you're doing 3 minutes, maybe even longer, and you don't even know it, right? And so it's a practice that happens gradually and subtly, right? And you're planting the seed. You're planting the seed. And so the main focus is do not engage the thought. Walk it like a dog, like I've told you guys before. Don't engage it. Don't suppress it. Don't touch it. Don't talk to it. Don't do anything. Just go and walk it like a dog right on by, right? Like a stray dog right on by that has a collar and a leash. You're not going to go near it. Don't do anything. And I promise you, the span will begin to get larger. And the more you do it, the larger the span will be. And that span is an opportunity for consciousness to come in. Consciousness can't come in if you don't allow it, right? God gives you free will. And so if you say no and you resist, that's causing and disease in the body. And so God's saying you have free will. It's your body. It's your form, right? I'm not going to force you to do anything. But he says, come to me and the kingdom of heaven is yours. How do I know that? Because he shoved me in it in one big swoop while I slept. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. I wouldn't change a thing, right? And so I think I have a little bit of experience to be able to tell you that I'm telling you the truth. 1, 2, don't be so hard on yourself. It's unconscious. 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 Do you know what that means? That means unaware. And so I can't place blame on anybody, and nobody else can either, because they're doing the same thing. Let me give you a really good tip. Someone that says to you something that you did to them out loud and calls you out on it, it's exactly what they're guilty of. And they're just mirroring themselves off you. And so It's not what they do or what they say or what the environment is. It's your response to it. And 9 times out of 10, because you're operating under the same fight flight system, you're going to come out fighting or you're going to flee, right? But know that your hormones in your body are like a freight train right now, and you can't stop a freight train on a dime. And so if you can learn to shut off that system and turn the innate system of the immune system on, the body will begin to heal miraculously. It does miraculous things, I promise you. So if you have questions, I didn't realize I had just the questions up. I thought I had chat up. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm so sorry I didn't have chat up. Hello to you so much. I know everybody thought that was a UFO last night. I included, right? Because all these other things I'm being shown and all this heightened psychic ability that's being given to me, that's the first thing I did. I texted somebody and said, look outside. Am I going crazy? Do you see these lights? And they were too late. They didn't see it. And then I Googled it right away. And if you Google it, many people have been writing in the news and reporting it. It was a planned event of some sort of stargazer event, some sort of starlight gazer thing that was supposed to go off. And it's linked to Jupiter. It's linked to Jupiter. Okay. Jupiter, astrology, right? And so these planetary shifts that are going on, do your full moon ritual. If you haven't done it one last night, you can do it tonight's moon, or you have 3 days after. And if you're feeling some of these profound energies, I know I am. I know I am. I should be electrocuted, the amount of vibration that's going through my body, right? And the rocking and the sensation, but it's all inside, right? It's all happening inside of me. And it's love, joy, and peace that I'm feeling. So it's utter bliss. And so when I look at something or say something or talk to someone, I don't have an opinion. I don't have any opinion. Is that the word I would use? I don't know. I don't have an agenda. I guess I would use that. I don't have an agenda. I just listen to what they're saying to me, right? Long time no see. Long time no see. I know my hair is getting dark, right? But I think it's good because we're coming into autumn. I've been doing some amazing skincare to my face, and it's really helping so much. And it's self-loving myself, right? I'm loving myself. And part of it's coming out of boredom because for 4 years I've been by myself, right? And hermiting. And it's 4 years, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 4 years, March, April, May, June, 4 years, 4 months, and 4 days. 4. Coincidence that it's happening during this supermoon? No, because I'm part of this universal shift, this shift into the age of Aquarius, right? Doing things differently, like Western medicine. That's why Spirit's pushing me towards medical astrology, right? Because I have all this medical knowledge. I love the stars. I love astrology. So why not put them together and teach people? Because it's no different than the chakras. They have a specific function, right, to each organ and they take their function very seriously. And so the planets take their function very seriously. So try to do some of these modalities if you can. Try to do them. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys, I know it's been a minute. And I apologize to you, but I'm healing and I'm growing. And sometimes when you do that, you have to clear out the old so that new can come to you, right? And so if I'm teaching and providing Reiki and healing and doing personal helping of other souls, they heal me in the process. So it's a win-win for both. right? We're the same. We're the same. Hi, King. How are you? You see who else is there? I'm so sorry I didn't see you guys. I'm so sorry. Uh, but if you can answer the question, or if you have any other videos or topics you want to talk about, I'm going to try and attach a ebook for you, and it'll be in the tags description below. The ebook is it's my ebook. It's I wrote it, and it's on the steps of spiritual awakening, and you can have it for free. And so I'll put it down there in the link if I can figure out how to get it from Canva to this video. And you guys can just open up the link, and you can go through the information. You can save it if you want to save it, or you can delete it if you want to delete it. It's up to you. But I made the ebook free for you so you could look at it in your own time. And so I'll attach it to this video once it uploads. So be patient for that. It's coming. I'll also put out some other ebooks that will be, I'll give it to you guys for free and to use too. So don't think that you're alone on your journey. You're not alone. And it takes what it takes to get you to where you need to be. And sometimes it takes a village of shit, right? And someone's going to say that in the most spiritual way, and others are going to just say it as blunt as I am. Sometimes it takes a village of shit to get us where we are. Why? Because that's my experience, and I can only teach on the level in which my students are willing to learn and can learn, right? And so somebody said Gen X to me the other day. I'm like, what's a Gen X? I don't even know what that is. And so I have to look that up, because apparently I'm in the Gen X era. I don't know about that. I know, I don't know. So many things are changing. So many things are changing in this world. And I don't even know. I didn't even know what that meant. So I'm going to have to Google it and see. But if you need some help, let me know. I'm thinking of putting up the other, I'll just let you know when I put them up. I'll put videos up. But if you have a topic you want to discuss, or you have a difficulty or a challenge that you're coming across, just ask, and I'll do a video on it. I'll give you guys a topic. These will be under Cracked Wide Open. My other gifts that I do in my life that bring pleasure to me when I'm not working with others in a spiritual realm, um, they're not going away. That's my baby. My soaping and my medicinal is not going anywhere. So those are beautiful things that incorporate with my same practice, healing, right? Organic products, medicinal, homegrown, legal, God-given medicine, right? Holistic, and combining holistic with the medical knowledge that I have, and then bringing in astrology and the healing with it. And so it's a win-win situation for everybody, right? And so if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help. And I mean that sincerely, right? I mean that sincerely. And it would help me too, because it keeps me busy. And as long as I'm talking about this and doing what I need to do, or what spirit's pulling me to do, it brings benefit to me, even if I'm kicking and screaming, right? Because I'm stubborn, and I'm human too, and I'm resistant to change as well as everyone else is. And so it's a journey that I'm on, and some days are better than others. So love yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Love yourself. Take a shower, take a bath every day, or something that you like, that you used to do every day. Light incense, pick flowers, go out in the sun, earth yourself, right? Walk on the beach, maybe ride your bike, take your Harley out, or go work on the car. Do something for you that brings you solace, brings you peace. And before you tuck in the nighttime, maybe just take 3 to 5 minutes for yourself and try some of these meditation modalities each night before you go to bed. It's only 3 to 5 minutes before you go to bed. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I love you guys so, so much. Again, please share the content. You never know who's looking for it. It'll be listed under Cracked Wide Open. If you want the ebook, it'll be down in the descriptions under the tags section. I love you so much. Please subscribe if you're not. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for returning. And hit that thumbs up on your way out. It's only free, and you can do it. I love you guys so, so much. Namaste.